Първо палене. After discovering that the engine had been damaged during its 13-year stay, I mounted the oil pan back and removed the engine along with the transmission. This was followed by separating the transmission and placing the engine on a stand, and the disassembly began. In any case, I had either buy another engine or repair this one if it was possible. One of the positive aspects is that I can at least measure the length of the burnt wires of the engine harness for the Project Phoenix. Finally, I reached the crankshaft, which turned out to be worse than I had anticipated. Moisture had somehow managed to penetrate and accumulate in the bearing area and making the crankshaft unusable, that you are going to see. In fact, I've found that the crankshaft is the same across all 55 AMG engines, and I ordered a good used crankshaft from G55 for 300 euros. On the tail of the crankshaft you can see the markings that determine the sizes of the crankshaft bearings. I began cleaning and inspecting all the engine parts. This turned out to be the only damage on the engine block, which according to Mercedes documentation was permissible to repair with RTV. Meanwhile, the cylinder heads were given for checks and repairs. I've made a heat insulation wrap of the intercooler and purchased new bearings for the crankshaft, chains and guides. Afterward, the reassembly process began. I managed to acquire a rare component, a supercharger snout from the SL55 AMG Evo, as well as a bigger throttle body. This modification provides an additional 13 horsepower. While waiting for various engine parts, I had the opportunity to check on the transmission. After removing the transmission oil pan, I discovered that the oil had never been changed in its entire 333,000 km history. I drained the dirtiest ATF I had ever seen, replaced the filter and gaskets, and cleaned the internal space. What do you think? Would this transmission actually work? I installed the new engine mounts and a front stabilizer bar, then reattached the engine to the freshly painted front subframe. I also made a minor upgrade to the spark plugs by using ones from Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 9 double iridium spark plugs. The engine is now ready for installation, but before that I removed all the heat shields for cleaning, and this allows me to clean the bottom of the chassis. The hanging bearing of the driveshaft turned out to be torn, and the driveshaft itself had play in the spines. I sent it for repairs. New flex discs for the gearbox and differential were installed. After all of this was done, I returned the engine to its place, and the long-awaited moment of its first start-up had come.
Първо палене. Хидравликата вие, трябва да изсипа течност. Малко чаткат новите повдигачи. Но до тук добре.
The oil level sensor wasn't working. It was replaced with an OM part.
20 minutes later.
Unfortunately, the SBC turned out to be completely non-functional. I removed it and sent it for a repair. Its electronics were damaged completely, most likely due to reverse polarity being applied to the car. And here is a small upgrade. I acquired a transmission oil cooler from W211 E420 CDI. With a minor modification, it was successfully adapted for the 55 AMG. Unfortunately, the gasket on right valve cover leaked. Always use original valve cover gaskets. After over 400 hours of working, here is the final result. And finally, some time for AMG coffee.